People always say, so is John Wick gonna be bigger and better and huger? And I'm like, that was a black belt. This is like 3rd degree black belt.
I think it's in our nature to try and outdo ourselves each time. I think the cool thing about John Wick is we've set up this Wickian world.
We want to expand the action, we want to expand the characters, we want to expand the world.
We're trying to create new things, we're trying to make it more exciting, more action.
8711 was the first to really kind of take this model of stunts and say, okay, we're gonna train our own people, we're gonna train other people, we're going to create this culture of performing, directing.
And so they brought both an action design and an action aesthetic of how to shoot it, which I think people really appreciated.
The 8711 team come on movies to help facilitate their vision of the action.
They take what I'm trying to get out of a scene, conceive something even more elaborate than what I was hoping for, and then execute it.
And working with someone like Chad, he's very specific.
I try to spend as much time as I can with the choreography team, giving my input about what I want out of the character, and then we all sit down and come up with a curriculum of moves and motion that we want the character to have, and then the choreography team just tries and tries and tries as many different combinations of the different variables that we have, and we pick and choose what fits best in what scene.
We always choreograph what we call master takes, doing it from beginning to end all in one take. We're memorizing it while we choreograph, because we'll do the first section, we choreograph the first section. Okay, now let's go to the second section. We always just end up running it front to back.
So I'm getting everything ready ahead of time through the previs process.
Previs helps us sight in where we're going with our choreography.
We didn't know exactly what the camera's going to do, so by the time it's time to do it, we have to make a few minor adjustments.
It allows Chad to see it.
We give him options and give him ideas. He always knows how to capture it perfectly.
We had J.J. Perry that ran the overall stunt team and the fight choreography team.
He's kind of the quarterback in the whole team that we have for the action.
And JJ's attitude is so fun that it's hard not to follow him into battle.
Here we go, good energy, guys. Get it.
I'm really grateful for the opportunity to have that instruction and support.
What 8711 loves to do is keep the camera on the actor, which is a challenge for an actor because they need to put up a lot of training. But you know it's that person and you feel the emotion.
They have a lot of experience with training actors, and I'm really benefiting from that experience.
Keanu's so conditioned now. We've done our magic and like conditioned him. He can go and he'll rehearse it like 3 or 4 times, top to bottom, and then he's like, all right, let's shoot.
He embodies everything about John Wick, and he's really an actor that gives him his all. So we love to surround him with actors who we can also push that far, and so that they can bring their A game.
You have to make the character or the individual playing the character better to do the better choreography. You can't do one without the other.
The training I've done has prepared me to be able to be spontaneous when we need to be, or take Chad's direction and make it authentic.
First time I talked to Common, he's like, I don't care what it takes. I want to do this. I don't think Common missed a single workout.
It's great when we have an actor who can also do his own stunts because the scenes just feel more authentic.
I am super psyched about the first Cassian and John Wick fight.
We've had Keanu and Common rehearsing, then they get into a shootout fight.
You're not having a good night, are you, John?
And then we're doing gun fu, jiu-jitsu,
judo. Yes, yeah, all of them mixed together.
Eric Brown, our judo extraordinaire, put together a really fascinating, pretty much grappling sequence between the two of them on the ground. It's very smart, it's very true to the arts, and they both pull it off.
He's just in it, man, and I really enjoy that.
It's been cool to be able to have time to train with Common and with Ruby. Ruby's been training. She's kind of like specializes in, knife fighting, close contact.
Keanu and I have a great scene. We're in a mirror room.
After a couple months of designing, Kevin and his fantastic team came up with a very elaborate mirror room that doubled part as art exhibit, part as maze.
I designed the room to be an architectural version of mirrors and reflections and getting lost within the reflection and trying to find what's real and what's not real.
We took that in a kind of ode to Enter the Dragon, and then we did our final little gunfight within that, which was very challenging.
Welcome to Reflections of the Soul at the New Modern NYC.
After the choreography was done, we did a bunch of rehearsals and worked together and brought it to the mirror room, and from the beginning, it was a challenge.
In that sense, we know that we have to train our actors really hard and make sure that they're well prepared.
And then you punch him, more straight punch. And that's where he's gonna grab you and break your elbow.
Come in here and they've trained hard and they've, learned to perform these fights in rehearsals, but when they get here, they're all turning it on and it's gonna make the scene just amazing.
It really was like we were fighting because half the time we were like, are we going with the uppercut or are we going with the, oh, well, I don't know, let's just do this. In fact, in one of them, he flips me over and his elbow knocked me in the cheek. And we watched it back and there's the moment where it was real.
There's a kind of reality to it. That level of everyone who's involved is kind of on a higher level.
Sure. We've tried to place action in places that audiences haven't seen before.
We didn't know we were going to do catacombs. I do a lot of the action design based on locations. So we went over to Rome, we scouted, and then we couldn't believe it. Like, they were going to allow us to shoot in 2,000-year-old catacombs.
Obviously, we have a big fight scene in the Baths of Caracalla, in the catacombs under the Baths of Caracalla.
And we had to shoot out through the rock opera into the catacombs down underneath the tunnels.
Okay, we went down there, no one wanted to touch anything. And the location manager, they overheard me talking about, well, the stunt guy. He said, oh yeah, you can hit this wall, no problem. And I was like, well, the stunt guys are gonna bounce off the walls. He's like, oh yeah, I've been here 2,000 years, you know, heard it.
You can't find those places just anywhere else.
It was kind of really a blessing because we knew we wanted to shoot the outside. And then when we discovered that there was tunnels down there, it was kind of opened up a whole nother kind of chapter in that scene.
It's impossible not to be lost in these scenes as an actor when you are surrounded by all that greatness.
We have a really big Russian sequence in the Taxi Motor House.
У тебя моя машина.
Baba Yaga.
The Russian fight was a fun one. Some really good performers in that.
That's right. Russian fight. Look at him.
So he comes in here to look for his car, finds his car, gets in it, gets caught, and then he's pretty much stuck there. There's nowhere to go. People just start surrounding him, and this fight happens.
So we do the dance.
Chad, as a director, he pretty much already knows what he wants to do. He already have everything planned out in his head, so there's no time wasted.
Coordinate all these fight scenes, coordinate all this stunt. You have to be very professional because you have to make decision like that. It's like 10-15 seconds. They're very professional, they've been around and they know exactly what they're doing.
Мир. Мир.
We are always chasing the clock. As a fight guy, you want all the time you can get to shoot the action and make it as perfect as possible.
Sometimes they get a little frustrated because I make them rehearse like crazy. But the most important thing I'm doing is the mission, and that would be Chad and his film. The second most important thing are my men. I will do anything I can to help my guys be ready for what they have to do. The final product is always going to be much better that way.
We're not pleased until JJ and Chad are pleased. Our job is to fulfill their vision. Seeing them happy is the world to us.
It's a good lad. Good lad.
Hopefully we get to take you through a little bit of a world that you haven't seen before.
So I guess you have a choice. You want a war? Or do you want to just give me a gun?